Good evening, folks. I do apologize for not uploading at my usual rate. I've been hit by a lot of copyright strikes and I've been busy in personal and professional life, so it's been a hard day or week or month to sit down and do my routine of game analysis, movie analysis, the Batwoman analysis, etc. But I just got a wonderful little news story, and there have been quite a few over the weeks. I've been reluctant to sit down and talk because of time. But this was brought to you by LiteratureDevil on Twitter. He just messaged me about 10 minutes ago. So I thought, okay, this is too good to pass up. And we just got to go through this together. So Bionic Woman producer Cameron Pasha uses Star Wars The Last Jedi to teach about bad screenwriting. Interesting. So Cameron Pasha, who also teaches screenwriting seminars, made it very clear he uses Star Wars The Last Jedi to instruct his students on how not to write a screenplay. Isn't that interesting? Using something so bad that it's so easy to teach someone on how to do something right. It's like looking at a hole in the ground and saying, do the opposite of whatever that was. Whether you were trying to bake a cake or build a car, that hole in the ground is not what you want, okay? Pasha responded to a tweet from Wired staff producer Adam Lance Garcia, who pondered, I have no idea how anyone can spend years being angry about a movie. Well, this guy has obviously not been a fan of anything. Fans have it within their hearts, the thing they love, and it's almost never going to go away. Even in old age, perhaps, they might think fondly or sadly about that one nostalgic memory of a character doing something heroic or not heroic. That's a fan. They're never going to give it up. They're always going to think about it, even when they go to sleep and life passes them by or they're busy with something else. So, yeah, Wired staff, good on you, Adam Lance, for not understanding what the heart of a fan is. One user responded that they are fascinated by The Last Jedi because every time they watch, they find more basic errors in screenwriting, editing, and plain script coherence seem to grow in number and severity. They added it's just a hemorrhage of how not to write a script. And yes, I would agree that in some contexts that nearly every scene has problems. And it's as if people don't notice this or don't care or aren't intelligent enough to pay attention. Most of the people who watch my channel probably do have enough intelligence to actually you don't even need intelligence to understand how bad The Last Jedi is. You just have to watch and listen and you'll know something is wrong by the feeling you get in the pit of your stomach. That's when Cameron Pasha weighed in. He stated, I've done screenwriting seminars at Columbia, University of Chicago, and other great schools. I always use Star Wars to teach students how to write a screenplay. I wonder why. Probably because it's the most popular franchise of movie history. There's so much material to draw from, and which movies do it right, which movies do it weird, and which movies do it wrong. Now I add, The Last Jedi will show you how to do it wrong. This isn't the first time Pasha has spoken out about the problems with The Last Jedi. Back in October, he detailed that there are a number of Hollywood screenwriters who share his distaste for The Last Jedi. He even says, most won't speak about it in public for fear of Disney. Oh, that's fun. Why would you get Disney on your case or hear bad things? Because, of course, they're looking at your Twitter feed or any other social media you might have had. And if you are one of those outspoken writers, that most writers should be, they should be honest and outspoken and egotistical and brimming with ideas, ready to write anything down. You might be a bit loud, and someone might hear you. So it's kind of funny just to see this guy who's just being honest and saying, yeah, this is what's really happening. We're scared of Disney. They're big. Not only does Pasha use Last Jedi to teach about bad screenwriting, but he describes the movie as a garbage film that is poorly written and motivated by ideological issues from people who have no love for Star Wars. Now, isn't that interesting? Because we seem to remember the many quotes by Rian Johnson, and I would argue J.J. Abrams, not so much, that how much they love Star Wars, how much they grew up on it. I think most of us kind of grew up on it, whether it was the original, in my case, in the 80s, or the prequels in the 90s, late 90s. So it's part of everyone's culture to some, or childhood at least, to some capacity. And it's kind of like the given. It's like, oh yeah, I love Star Wars. Most guys I know. Not too many girls don't care. That's fine. It's not your bag. But for the directors and writers of episode 7 and 8 to constantly, oh yeah, I love Star Wars. It's great. It's fantastic. It's great. All part of my life. There has to be something masking that. Because if you are a lover of episode 4, 5, and 6, or even 1, 2, and 3, and then you write The Last Jedi, something is wrong. Something's wrong with you. There's some other motivation you've got going in your creative or professional life, and that can only be assumed to be ideological issues. We can't narrow it down. I would not say Johnson is incompetent. I think he's just blinded by his own ideologies, whatever those might be. We're not too sure. The Last Jedi is garbage. I'll proudly own that opinion until the day I die. He's also described the film as emotionally dead. The Phantom Menace had the Duel of the Fates, one of the greatest lightsaber battles in the history of Star Wars. I would say that's true. The problem with the Duel of the Fates, it was not the fight scene itself, the choreography. There, a few minor problems, I would argue. But the problem was the villain, or the mini-boss, or whatever you want to call Darth Maul. His motivation, his desire for revenge, wasn't really explained. He was just bad guy with... His characterization was dual lightsaber. That was about as deep as Darth Maul got. And yes, it was well choreographed. They put a lot of effort into that. There was a death of a master, of a friend, a mentor. That was dramatic, of course. And lots of crazy, lightsaber fights. Probably the biggest of the entire franchise. I just wish there was more motivation and understanding of what the fight was all about, aside from good versus evil. The Last Jedi did not even have one proper lightsaber battle. That's true. The Phantom Menace also had some touching scenes between Anakin and his mom. The Last Jedi was emotionally dead. Yeah, I would argue that the first and the second movie had motivation. I think that's the clearest part about Anakin as a character, as he developed, was his mother. There was lots of scenes in episode 1. In episode 2, the scene where he destroys a village of raiders who captured and killed his mom. That was clear. It could have been a lot clearer, but it made sense. Okay, this is where he's going. This is where he goes off the deep end. This is where it all starts. That's where you can say, okay, we got you, movie. We're seeing where you're going with that. So that is, I would argue, the better parts of the backstory of Anakin Skywalker and how we understand why he became the way he did. So this was a great little bit of tweets. He's on Twitter. You can check him out at where is he? There he is. Cameron Pasha. Popular guy, not too popular, more popular than I. But give him a hello. Say, hey, thanks for your commentary and teaching people what makes a good screenplay. It's always cool. And thanks, guys, for listening. Have yourself a great evening.